Shathra and her army of spider-wasp men have begun their assault on the Great Web and their goal of ending the Spider-Verse. Morlun, one of the inheritors, has been recruited to the side of the spiders to fight to keep the Spider-Verse intact, as he has embodied the saying that you are what you eat, and is now considered one of the spiders in the eyes of Shathra. Madam Web, Spider UK, and Anya have begun gathering their spider army in the Earth 616 beta, the current safe zone for the spiders. We ended last time with Miles beginning his transformation into a spider wasp, so let's see what happens next. And if you're wondering where you are at Comicstorian, where we make audio dramas of comic books to let you know what is out there for you to purchase. This is Spider-Man by Dan Slott, End of the Spider-Verse. Now let's get into it. Everyone looks at Miles' transformation in shock, but Morlun pushes through them. The child will give us away unless we destroy him at once, he shouts. But Peter refuses to even think about the idea. But Miles waves to them all. Guys, it's me, he shouts. Everyone leaps on him, but Miles uses his venom shock to knock them all away, and he gets back to his feet. I get it, I can't stay here, he shouts. Madam Web nods, explaining that Miles is able to fight against the transformation as he is a totem of 2 universes. I'm a kid from 2 dimensions, and for now, that's giving me an edge. I'm fighting her, but the second I slip, we're screwed. Someone call up a portal, he shouts, explaining that he'll head to Loomworld and work against Shathra from her hive. Craven steps forward with a smile. Stalking Shathra and her brood in her own lair? That would be the hunt of a lifetime! Count me in! Hunter Spider tells them. Both the totems head towards the portal and disappear. And Madam Web sighs. Down 2 spiders, and we haven't even begun to save the Spider-Verse yet, she whispers. She turns back to the rest of the team, showing them what they are up against. Shathra has corrupted the great web of life and destiny and turned it into her hive. The plan is to use Anya's totemic magic and Spider UK's portals to defeat Shathra, restore the web, and the friends they've lost to her drones. Does that include Jess? Peter asks. But Madam Web explains that she was lost to the dagger and can't be brought back. But Anya cuts in, using her magic to show them an ancient temple. There once was a spider goddess who had many names in many cultures. She was the first totem, she explains, telling them that there is a magical object within her temple that will allow them to restore everyone who had been unraveled by the totem dagger. Peter nods and turns to his team. Felicia, Aranya, and I will pop over to the Temple of Loom and just grab the magical doohickey, and we'll be right back. You'll never even know we've been gone, he says to Madam Web, who is exacerbated that no one is listening to her. Peter turns to Silk and puts her in charge before the trio disappears into the portal. And now we're 5 spiders down. Our numbers have been practically cut in half, Madam Web sighs. But Morlun also leaps through a portal, meaning to kill the spiders that were left on 616 and steal their dagger, believing that it can kill Shathra. The other spiders quickly follow him, not wanting the inheritor to kill their friends before they can be cured. And in a matter of moments, it is just Madam Web and Spider UK left behind. That went south real fast, Spider UK notes. And Madam Web smacks her forehead. And none of them even heard the actual plan. The one to save the Spider-Verse, she groans. Dropping into Delvadia on Earth 616, Felicia quickly moves forward to get them inside the temple, smiling as she trips the traps that launch dozens of spears at her teammates. Careful! Anya and Peter shout. What? This is how I do things. My spider sense warns me when I'm in danger. My bad. Guess I'm not used to working as a part of a team, she says with a smile. She's gonna get us killed, Peter whispers to Anya. In New York, The Spider-Wasp drones are bored at being stuck on 616, but a portal opens and Morlun leaps out. "You are the one who holds the key to my salvation," he shouts at Noir, and he grabs him and slams him into the ground. The other drones leap in to help Noir, and the portal releases the rest of the spider totems. Silk orders her team to stop Morlun from killing the drones, but Spintress is quickly bitten by one of the spider wasps. On Loomworld, Shathra turns, aware that someone has broken the magical seal on 616. "Nestling, bring the rest of my drones home," she commands, turning to her underling. As Nestling moves to obey, Shathra senses a new drone in her hive. "In her thoughts, I can hear all the spiders plotting. I know where they've been hiding," she bellows, turning to the rest of her army and telling them to prepare. Meanwhile, the other trio have arrived at the center of the temple, managing to avoid the rest of the traps, and an idol of the spider god waits for them, with a golden spider resting in her hand. As Felicia pulls the golden spider away, portals begin to open up. "Hey, that was flawless!" Felicia shouts in anger. But Anya realizes that Shathra is sending her army to stop them. At the sanctuary, Madam Web sees that everything is going to hell. And back on 616, Silk and the others are holding Morlun at bay while the rest of the drones manage to escape. Spintress now taunts them in song as she's been transformed into a drone. Morlun finally frees himself and reaches for the totem dagger, but he is shocked to find that Noir doesn't have it anymore. "The accursed blade! Where has it gone?" he bellows in rage. Meanwhile, in the temple, Peter, Anya, and Felicia are fighting off the swarm. The drones manage to knock the golden spider away and destroy it. And suddenly, Drone Gwen arrives with the totem dagger, and she leaps in and stabs Peter in the chest. Peter looks down in horror as the blade sticks out of him. He begins to glow. This isn't supposed to happen. I don't feel anything. It's like I never... All those people I saved, will they be okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He gasps as he unravels into a pile of webs. At the sanctuary, Madam Web falls to the floor as she senses what has happened to Peter. Back in the Temple of Neath, "Peter! He's unraveled! He's gone!" Anya shouts as the drones close in on her and Felicia. "Hey, we're still here, Anya," Felicia reminds her as she kicks another drone. She has the idea to run back through the temple, tripping every trap they've managed to avoid in the beginning. The drones chase them, but are slowed as all the traps cut through them. That should slow them down. "Now, why don't you make with the magic portals?" Felicia says to Anya. But Anya refuses. She knows that there are words written into the totemic runes in the temple, and she wants to read them, not wishing for Peter's sacrifice to be for nothing. Anya looks at the words, reading that they speak of a chosen one. "How's that helpful? That was Parker, and he's gone now," Felicia shouts. Anya finally agrees, opening a portal that allows them to escape just as the drones catch up with them. On Loomworld, Shathra and Nestling watch as Anya and Felicia escape. But Shathra isn't worried, knowing that the Spider-Verse is within her grasp. But in the shadows, Miles and Hunter Spider watch. "She practically sent her entire hive to Earth. This is our moment, Morales. I say we strike. Are you ready, child?" Craven asks. "The two of us against Shathra? Are you mad? We'd never stand a chance," Miles hisses. But Shathra is happy that the so-called chosen one has been severed from the web of life. "There is nothing that can stop me now," she cheers. Miles rears back in shock. They killed Peter? They killed Peter? He shouts, and he leaps through the air, landing on Shathra and hitting her with a powerful venom strike. This is for Peter Parker. This is for Spider-Man, he shouts, but Kraven turns away, knowing that Miles ruined their surprise attack. You're on your own, boy, he whispers as he escapes into the hive. Miles is exhausted and falls to the ground. Gave it everything I got, Pete. Wherever you are, I did that for you, Miles gasps. But Shathra stands unfazed. Then know you failed him. You have no power here, insect. She growls, grabbing him and slamming him against the wall, questioning how he is transformed but isn't under her control. I can see this is really bothering you, Miles gasps. Shathra nods. Learning this secret is the only reason I'm keeping you alive, she hisses. At the Spider Sanctuary, Spider UK has brought their only hope to the secret lair. But Madam Web isn't happy. For all good that'll do, he's no Peter Parker. Parker was the only one destined to save us. I've seen it in my vision, and I know it to be true, she says. Thanks for the vote of confidence, the mysterious newcomer snaps. Back on Loomworld, Miles has been brought to the dungeons, where he finds Spinneret, a Peter that has been transformed into a massive spider, Peter Parked Car, a tiny car Spider-Man, and a video game Spider-Man that just says, beep boop. These are all the totems that Shathra can't turn into a drone. Miles sighs, now chained to a wall, questioning how they can possibly win now. Meanwhile, back in 616, the totems and Morlun have defeated Spintress, now questioning what they should do next. But portals open behind them, and Anya and Felicia step out. It's just us. Everything went horribly, and we lost Pete, Anya tells them. And everyone is shocked. Even Morlun glares at them. That's all you have to say for yourselves? You lost the chosen one? In the grand scheme of things, that man was irreplaceable, Morlun growls. But another portal opens up, and Spider UK and Madam Web step through. We've brought someone who might be able to fill Parker's web shoes, UK says. But Madam Web still doesn't look happy. Not so much a replacement, more like the original prototype, she says. And another Spider-Man steps through the portal. This one looks more like a Silver Age version of the character. Madam Web introduces him as Peter Palmer, the amazing Spider-Man, and he greets them all. Now, let's get down to business. Is this a paying gig? I was a big TV star, then sensation of a nation. So I figure I'm worth your top salary, Palmer says. And Morlun growls at their new friend. Is this buffoon the best you could do? Though it pains me to say it, I would give anything to have the real Spider-Man back, he says. But unknown to the rest of the spiders, the real Peter Parker is continuing his workday across town. As one of the most renowned scientists working at Oscorp, Peter finishes setting up the teleporter that Norman has been working on, the one that Silk rescued from the hijackers earlier that day. And as he powers it on, the teleporter begins to glow, and a strange tube with a glowing piece of webbing appears. Peter reaches down for the glowing object and looks at it in surprise. Now, where in the world did you come from? He wonders. And that is where we are going to leave part 2 of Dan Slott's End of the Spider-Verse. What is going to happen next? Will Shathra succeed? Will Peter Parker return from the unraveling? Well, we'll just have to wait and find out. If you enjoyed this video and enjoyed my reading of it, please be sure to give the video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell icon to make sure you get notifications when the next part goes live. I'm Dan, and I will see you guys next time right here at Comicstorian.